I'll start the video in just a minute. Oh, god damn. That is some funny shit. Okay. Now, remember how I did a video about James Vasquez? I did a live stream about James Vasquez and then a short video about James Vasquez on 2 different channels. I'll post the links in the description below. But anyway, the upshot was that, see, James Vasquez, right? Why did I obsess about some random guy called James Vasquez? Well, see, this guy, James Vasquez, right, at the start of the war here in Ukraine, he started posting these videos on TikTok and Twitter, claiming that he was a volunteer fighter here in Ukraine, helping the Ukraine armed forces, right? And what happened was that, see, the first time I saw his videos, I'm like, this is a fake. This isn't real. I couldn't quite at first figure it out how, but I just knew it. It just looked fake, okay? Because when you see enough video, you realize, oh, this is fake and this is real. Anyway, the point is that, see, I figured it out with some friends, some assistants from people on Telegram, and I figured out that this guy was basically filming himself in all this tactical gear as if he had been fighting in Ukraine. And he was actually in Ukraine, okay? I mean, there's no question the locations were definitely in Ukraine, but they were all staged. And he claimed to be, like, one video, he claimed that he had helped destroy 5 Russian tanks. And that was a complete lie. And I showed how it was a lie. That the video was actually of 5 Ukraine armored vehicles that had been destroyed. And he was just claiming that they were Russians. And I pointed out the details that showed that they were Ukrainian tanks and not Russian tanks. And I also showed how the location where he was filming was basically a location that had been filmed in other Ukraine Zelensky regime propaganda videos, right? And so I'm like, this is propaganda. This guy is a propagandist. He's a fucking liar. Okay, that's what pissed me off because, you know, it's all good and fine to do propaganda videos. I don't mind. I mean, I understand the necessity of it, of keeping up morale and whatnot. But lying, oh man, it just, I mean, you say, well, what's the difference between propaganda and lying? Well, because propaganda is really just sort of like emphasizing the fact that you're winning or that the other guy is losing, as opposed to just making shit up. The making shit up stuff is the part that I hate. And James Vasquez, everything about him was made up. Okay? Okay. I proved that. Okay? And because of it, you know, my videos on James Vasquez, well, they got deleted from where they were originally posted. And I had to repost them again on this channel. Man, I look very soft. Let me see. Let me just fix this lens here just a little bit. I don't know why I look so soft. Anyway, okay. So the video where I showed that he was a liar, and I showed the other videos of other propagandists, because in order to compare and show that James Vasquez was a liar, I had to show the other videos that proved this, right? So anyway, that video, which is linked below, by the way, that first iteration of that video got deleted, and I uploaded it again on this channel, so, you know, fine. And I forgot about it, you know, because the guy blocked me on Twitter, and so I'm like, okay, fuck it. You know, I'll just move on with my life. I've got other fish to fry, right? Now, why am I bringing you this up now? Well, because yesterday, July 15th, was it? What is it? Let me just see here. Yeah, July 16th today. So July 15th, right? It emerged, right? This idiot got into a tussle on the New York subway. And some guy, some kid, who, I mean, he looked real young, like 19, 22 tops, right? Some young kid who, I mean, no disrespect to the kid, but soaking wet, he must have weighed 100 pounds. Oh, this guy beat the shit out of James Vasquez. I mean, really did. They got into like a verbal altercation in a subway train, and then they both got off and they started fighting, and it was just so damn funny. And James Vasquez has been doing all kinds of damage control, and the video rather is all over Twitter. Hell, I'll post a link to the video in the description below as well. But
It's all over Twitter, and he is doing major damage control. And it just shows what a complete fraud this guy is. Because if he were like a real soldier, first of all, I've met real soldiers, real badasses. I mean, and here, right? And they are, they're totally chill. Their ego, their need to show how tough they are is just way, way torqued down. Because they have shown that they have what it takes, okay? There's no insecurity about their abilities. Because ultimately, all of these guys who like try to show how tough they are and all that crap, right? It's out of insecurity. It's because they've never been actually tested. And so they're insecure in their masculinity, in their ability to handle themselves. They don't really know their limits. James Vasquez in the video, you see him like getting all like oh, you know, I'm gonna beat you up, I'm gonna show you, and he stands up like this, like I swear to God, like Jack Dempsey in the 1920s, man, like oh, I'm gonna beat you up, and the other kid, well, James Vasquez was acting like a child, but the other guy, who was a very young man and a very slight, thin young man, he seemed tall enough, but you know, very skinny. Like I said, you know, 100 pounds soaking wet. Oh man, that was funny. He was just like not having any of James Vasquez's shit. Beat him up. I mean, he did. He got his ass kicked. And it just goes to show that James Vasquez is a liar, because as I was saying before I went to this little, a real soldier, first of all, would never get himself into that kind of situation. He would have just ignored the situation, just like torqued the drama down, because he doesn't need to show what a tough guy he is, because he is a tough guy. See? And James Vasquez, instead of like, you know, kind of like trying to soothe things and bring them down, he just ramped it up because he's insecure, because he's a little bitch, because he's never been in combat. He's never really had to test himself in any way. And I'm not claiming to be any better, but see, I don't go around pretending that I'm better. So anyway, this James Vasquez is doing all kinds of damage control. And see, all of that, that's all good and fine. It's all very funny. But I insist, I want to know where all that money went, all the money that people sent him via Venmo and PayPal. I want to know, he himself said that he had gotten over $50,000. I want to know where that money went. Because he was collecting money under false pretenses. He was claiming that he was in Ukraine fighting on the sides of the Ukrainian armed forces when he was not fighting. And this video just goes to show further that the guy is a loser. The guy, he doesn't know anything about... I mean, do you honestly think that such a guy who gets his ass whipped like that, who gets into a fight in the goddamn subway, man? Come on. Do you think a guy like that is actually, you know, tough enough to handle like a real war? Come on, man. The guy is like a liar. Like I said, he was definitely in Ukraine. You can tell by the setting, but he was never fighting. He was never in combat. And I just want to know where that money went. That 50,000 or however how much money he gathered, because he claims 50,000. But, you know, at the time, his videos were way popular. I bet it must have been more than 50 grand. I want to know where that money went. And I want to know who set up James Vasquez. What organization? Clearly, he was working in conjunction with the Zelensky regime. Clearly, okay? But I want to know who in America. Was it a government organization? Was it an NGO? Who? Who was James Vasquez working for? That's the question. That's the real question. And I hope that some journalists will dig into it, because I think that that's a valid question. And it's a question that we all deserve an answer to. And, and to James Vasquez, you know.